We're ready to start, Barry. Are
Oh
you
my goodness.
settled?
Let me get in my
Yeah,
position here. My
there you
bad.
go. Fitness, Barry, fitness doesn't have to be complicated, okay? It doesn't have to be intimidating. So let's talk about it. This show is for beginners, people stepping into the gym for the first time, sorting through the diet fads, wanting to feel stronger and healthier. Here is where we get down to the basics: the training, the nutrition, the recovery, and the mindset. Leading the way is NPC bodybuilding champion and seasoned coach here to guide us. His competition highlights includes out of his last 10 shows, two runner-ups and eight first place titles, along with a host of other accolades, placements, and accomplishments. And in his 50th year, maybe 51st year now,
Yes,
training
sir.
in the
Uh,
gym consistently. Welcome and all aboard the train. Choo choo with Barry. Hello, sir. How are you?
Going on, Eric? How you doing?
Doing great, doing great. Rate my breakfast today. I know you told me to go in on six eggs, three whites, three yolks. And that was your recommendation to me. Today I had two eggs, but I did have a piece of toast and a slice of sharp cheddar. How am I doing?
Wait a minute. So, off my recommendation, that's where we are right now. You made it to two eggs.
I made it to two eggs. Three, four eggs is a lot, and I'm hungry in the mornings, I notice, but I don't know if I could put down four eggs.
And so, after you ate two eggs, and would you say toast?
Just a piece, one slice, and a slice of sharp cheddar.
And you were full.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
I
Time for
think, though,
lunch.
again, that was two whole eggs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you added two egg whites, just two without the yolk to make it four to start for now, you wouldn't even be aware of those extra two or that extra egg whites. Not wouldn't even have any. Like mine are, like I said, 12, but they're nine whites, three yolks. Like I get, people when I tell them 12, are like, oh, I said I couldn't imagine eating 12 eggs. You know what I mean? Just 12 whole eggs. I prayed to what that even looked like on the plate. But I mean, nine whites and three yolks. Just a thin pancake, basically. It's not a lot of. So I would, again, just throw those two extra whites in there.
Okay.
I don't think you will even notice any difference other than you're going to get another 7 grams of protein out of it.
Should I cut out that slice of toast? That's not doing me any good, is it?
Oh, it's not gonna. I mean, that's your carbs basically for you. If it's a good piece of whole wheat, you know,
Whole wheat or Ezekiel bread?
Ezekiel's just as good. I mean, it's healthy. It's got some protein in it. If you look at what's in it, yeah, I would. No, I would have that. If you're not doing oatmeal, I would definitely like my second breakfast is 12 eggs, two turkey sausage, a little bit of oatmeal, not a lot. And I do two pieces of toast. I've added back in on my breakfast. Over the last 3 weeks, I went back to doing a little bit of toast of really good, clean wheat bread that I haven't really done in a long time. Just to
And that's
one,
a post workout meal for you?
especially after as soon as I get home from the gym. Yeah, yeah. So, and it doesn't. Again, it is a lot. It sounds like a lot, but 20 minutes after I eat it, I could eat again and something. You know what I mean? Just digest that quickly. So.
Sure. Okay. Good to
I
know.
can
Good
put
to
my
know.
backdrop here. It looks like I'm almost in the gym, doesn't it?
Man, that is some nifty backdrop. It's
That's kind
very,
of cool,
very,
isn't it?
it's like virtual reality. It looks like you're actually sitting in the place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Looks like I'm in the gym. Real stuff. I mean, it's got like real dumbbells and stuff that I could actually get if I wanted to.
Yeah, it has a sound effect too, like there's a little
Oh, it's
echo in
definitely
there.
an echo in here. That's what you get. But I had a few people. Reggie's one of them, who's reached out to us before. On every time I see him, he's like, "Barry, when are you gonna go in the gym? When are you gonna start doing something? When are you gonna show us some workouts?" He said, "I want to see if you actually even work out." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll." And just to
Nice.
prove it, actually, I do something. I might show you a couple of things in the gym.
Shout out to Reg for
Yes,
getting
that's where
Barry
we
in the
are.
gym on the show. Thank you, Reg.
Yeah, we got another shout out to Dave. I trained him over the weekend, real quick, a Dave story. So he's telling me he went to the doctor. So Dave, I think when we started, he said it was 245. He got down to 230 after we started working out. He's 230 now, same weight he is now as he was 20 years ago. And that's from 55 to 75, which is pretty cool. I mean, again, a lot of people can't say that. It just shows you that working out consistency part of showing up and doing it, how it just helps you maintain your weight all through life. I mean, literally, he's the same as he is now as he was 20 years ago. So pretty cool that, again, a lot of people can't say that, hey, I weigh exactly what I weighed 20 years ago.
Well, I mean, one of the first things you start losing as you age, the first thing you that I noticed going was energy. And
Yeah,
how on earth can I think about working out or a fitness plan when in my head I'm like losing the energy? But this kind of goes hand in hand, doesn't it?
yeah, it goes back to the food, energy, and getting in the gym, obviously. But it is the food. My brother, we talked about, same deal with him, and he's in his 70s, and just more tired than he used to be, and now he's on it. He's like kind of like Rosemary. He's doing the protein. He's sending me all his food and what he's doing, and keeping track of it. And so yeah, it has a whole different energy level. I said, "How you feeling now? Like you bouncing off the walls?" And, yeah, I got energy all day long. So that's because that's your fuel. That's where it starts. That's why you should be ideally. And then the other part of that for Dave is the fact that he hasn't atrophied any muscle. I mean, he's the same as he was, as solid as he was, as strong as he was 20 years ago. So that speaks volumes. Not only the fact that he hasn't lost anything, gained anything, but the fact that he hasn't lost any muscle, which means he's not, putting on any fat as well. I mean, he's just maintaining it, which is kind of what he wants to do.
Which means his diet is pretty close to on par, if not right where it needs to be, because he's maintaining. Is that fair?
No, for Dave, I wouldn't call that fair as far as his diet goes. he's he's he loves his beer. He loves his alcohol. Number one, so he likes he's going to drink now that he's remarried. Wine. I don't know how many times a night he's going to do that. But is he doing better than he's ever done? Sure. He's probably someone that's just probably average person who kind of eats for the most part what he wants to eat, but he also is aware of what he's eating, so he stays on track. But he also has his days. I think his biggest issue would be the drinking for him, honestly. And when he cuts back, he can see a difference. He'll come in and say, "Hey, man, Barry, I'm down 5 pounds." I'm like, "Yeah, you haven't drank anything in a couple of weeks." But he socialized a lot since being married and where he lives. They drink wine if you allow them. If he'll go to all of them, they'll drink 7 nights a week. So
Well, my brother is actually, it's funny you say that because he's taken the January off of drinking. He's having a dry January. That's kind of his thing. One of the things he's got going on. Always focused on something. That guy. He's a great inspiration for me because he's constantly thinking about fitness, working out, fasting, and his changing up his meal plan. But uh, I wanted to mention that because you reminded me here. You have a paper in your hand, so I know you have something written down. In
yeah, that's what
crayon, I
makes
would guess. But
better if I follow notes.
before you get started, but now hold on, Barry, hold on. I know you're sitting in the gym, you're ready to get going, but I wanted to mention that there's a couple of new subscribers to the channel. I don't know if you noticed, but I got a notification for a new subscriber. Her name's Sharon, and another subscriber by the name of Brad. So we wanted to welcome you both aboard the Train with Barry. And they click that subscribe button, which is going to subscribe them to our channel and all of our posts. And also, if they haven't already, I'm sure they will get around to clicking the bell notification. That is going to send you a notification every time we upload a video rather than just put you in the subscriber list. Uh, in addition to that, if you like the channel or if you hit the like button on this video, it helps us out in the algorithm and it pushes our show to those that have similar interests. So I wanted to just offer that welcome to both Brad and Sharon. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments or send Barry a message there on Facebook. But with that being said, Barry, what do you got there?
Okay, but let me go real quick as you mentioned that because when you said that to me last week, and I'm luckily you send me the podcast when you're done because that's how I get mine. But I looked for that bell you were talking about at the bottom. I didn't see it, so I'm not
It,
sure.
I'm glad you said that because it's actually right on the subscribe button. If you
Okay,
go back and look at that subscribe button, attached to it, just to the left of it, is a little notification bell. That's the one you want to click
so
on.
you
It's
got to
right.
do both. Not only subscribe, but hit that bell button.
Yeah, the subscribe puts you in a list of all other
Right,
subscriptions that you have, but
right.
it doesn't necessarily notify you when we post a new
Okay,
video. That's what the
okay.
bell does.
All right. Yeah. So I had written down some stuff as far as just we talked about the new year, people are talking about resolutions, and I saw a few in the gym this morning. You can tell that basically the new people who are in, just while they walk around kind of lost, not sure exactly what they're doing. A lot of overweight, not being critical. It's just most of the girls I saw the other day, the new ones, were pretty overweight. I mean, God bless them, they're in there and they're trying to make a difference. Will they? It's hard to say. I said that you said Rosemary wouldn't, but look at her now. So maybe they will also. So I know
Nice.
I'm busting your chops. That was
Good
a little
one.
on me. But it was talking about the difference between having a plan as opposed to a resolution. So the problem is important to have a plan. Imagine a pilot, the analogy they gave was kind of cool. Imagine a pilot takes off without a destination. No map or anything. Eventually he's going to crash because he's just flying aimlessly. You take your plane up in the air, you don't know where you're going, you're just flying around.
Just figure it out when you get in the sky.
Figure it out wherever you're going, and then you only get so much gas, whatever the case. But I mean, it's very similar to that, is doing that if you don't have a plan, which I talk about, method of madness, however you want to word it. And I see that mostly. I watched it, a young lady today, she did 12 sets of hamstring. That's a lot of hamstring.
That's a lot of
three
hamstring.
exercises, 4 sets each. There's no way I could do 12. I mean, I could, I guess. Not the way I train, I don't think I could do 12. But you can't. I mean, I have most of my clients do 12 sets of legs total. That's hamstring, quad, glutes. We're talking about one girl who did 12 sets of hamstring.
Is the hamstring, that's the rear thigh muscle?
Leg.
That's a pretty big muscle.
She did laying down leg curl. She did the hamstring that you have planted, you pull back. She did stiff leg deads, which are hamstring, 4 sets. And I'm like, of each, 12 sets. And I'm like, wow, the ability to be able to recover from that. And I've always said this, it's way worse to undertrain than it would be to overtrain. Because the other overtraining part of breaking down muscle fibers like that, just being able to, if you're able to repair and rebuild, that's where your protein comes in, your food comes in to be able to do that and make sure you're repairing what you're breaking down. So even if they had the food down, which they don't, and they're definitely not taking enough protein, majority of people do not, she'll never recover from that. So she's going to end up going backwards, and then also risk of injury. But that's kind of talking about having a plan. Figuring out, again, when I started working out, I was very fortunate. I went to a gym, small gym. The guy that owned it kind of set me up in a program. And it was a pretty good power lifter dude. He looked the part. I mean, dude looked like, he'd been in the gym for a while. He knew what he was doing. And I think that's kind of what you got to do. You can't, gyms nowadays, it's hard when you sign up for training. Don't care where you go, any big box place. They're just glorified babysitters. They really don't have a plan. They're not going to put you through a total body workout. They're going to give you 3 or 4 exercises max. I watch it all the time. They're not even exercises. Most of them don't even make it into working out. They're pushing the sled, doing stuff to get your heart rate up a lot, makes you sweat. When you're done, you feel like you are sucking air, you feel like you did something, as opposed to having a basic program, which you kind of want to try to take the time today to do. To go through some exercises, some that I think that I see done wrong, but also just a total body workout that you could do that would be sufficient. And then you build upon that as you go. You can add lifts, especially if you're in the gym. Instead of a dumbbell chest press, you can do the chest press. There's other things you can do if you want to, as people say, get bored. I don't know that you ever should or would get bored. If you just lift, you just show up. It's about showing up. It's not about being motivated or about being, whatever drives me, whatever. You just make that plan. Tomorrow, here's my plan. You should have the plan before you ever go in the gym. I don't ever go in the gym and say, man, what should I do today? I think about my workout. I already know tomorrow what I'm going to do tomorrow today. I already worked it through my mind. So when I show up, I just go through my workout. But I don't show up and just walk around. This looks like a good machine. This is like see someone do something, say, I might try that. Which is maybe okay at the beginning. Do you find something that really engages or works? But basically, you should have a total body, big muscle to small muscle. We talked about last week. Legs to start, then chest, back, shoulders, arms, some abs, and out the door. So basically, the things I wrote down basically was lift weights that challenge you over time. You're adding a little weight over time. Eat enough protein to build the muscle. Make space for foods that you love. You're not gonna that old crash and burn thing. Eat what you want. You know, you want to slide one day and you have a little pizza. That's a blip on your radar. You know what I mean? You can't beat yourself up. You just get back on the next program. You're back eating your regular food, and you go about it. Now, if you're doing that 7 days a week, that's a different story. But I think the more that you get your food eating right, they were giving out the game Sunday. They had all these cupcakes, and Barry want a cupcake, Barry want a cupcake. And I'm looking at that thing thinking, first of all, it didn't even look that good to me. But I mean, I just already know that's gonna. We've talked about this before. It's gonna jack my system up, and it's just not gonna digest well. I'm gonna have this bad feeling for the next couple hours of being bloated.
Right, because
the body doesn't process.
it's a shot of sugar and
Right.
carb that you and your program are not accustomed to
It
off
just won't
program.
work. So I
Right.
already know that ahead of time. I just say, no, I appreciate it. I just move on. You know what I
Right.
mean? Show up consistently. Doesn't have to be perfectly consistent, but be consistent. You know what I mean? But the analogy they use, what if somebody's killing it for, especially when you're talking about resolutions. For the next 6 weeks, these people in there just killing it. And then they kind of get bored or don't see the quick results they think they're going to see or get injured, whatever the case may be. And then they don't see them for the next 8 months. As opposed to the person that goes in, starts consistently going in 3 days a week, whatever the case may be, 4 days a week. And you might miss a day or two in there. But over the long haul, 365 days, if you factor in the days you missed, now you made it to the end of the year. And you might have made it in at 300 days of the 365. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to be, you just got to get to where you get on the routine of showing up and doing it. And then, obviously train with others if you can. If you see somebody in there that looks the part, or you see someone in there that's pretty fit, nothing wrong. I'll tell you, they'd be happy for you to pick their brain. I mean, I don't get it that much anymore, but then I don't allow myself. My mindset's different when I'm in the gym, I guess, than it used to be. So I'm not, they say I'm not the most approachable guy in the gym. But I mean, with the times they do come up and say something, I love helping people. And most people do enjoy that because they appreciate it. But it's not finding, like I watched a guy, and I'll get into some weights. I watched a guy, I guess it probably was his girlfriend, a new girlfriend, and he was bringing her in the gym to show her how to work out. Now, this guy he didn't really look like he worked out. It wasn't anything other than just a thin guy. So he starts her off on incline dumbbell flies. And he's got these weights. Like he gave her, I think I want to say they probably were 3-pound dumbbells. And he had her doing them. Hard to explain how he had it. He had her coming out here like this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not even going to demonstrate with weights and this was what he did. And he was telling her, you probably won't be able to go up a lot in weights because if you do, you could, might bother your tendons. By definition, it's going to bother your tendons just for the fact that the amount of stress I felt with no weight on right here in my shoulders, as opposed to my chest, was night and day.
So is that just an incorrect exercise or an incorrect position?
Yeah. Because if you're here, if your hands are outside your elbows, like right now where I feel this is here. So when I talked about it before without demonstrating, I've seen guys see how far they can stretch down.
Yeah, I see that all the time.
Everything is here for me. I feel everything there. Okay. So real quickly, not to keep going out of the camera, but basically I'm gonna get these big old heavy 15-pound dumbbells.
Oh, I thought there was
yeah, that's a lot of weight. A couple things that I try to demonstrate. I did this with Rosemary the other day. Eventually, most people start them down here, and then they want to kick them up and go back here.
Mm-hmm.
As you try to get heavier, like that was Rosemary's problem. I had her doing 15s that day, but she had no chance of pulling the 15s up. So a lot of people I train, like for instance, back in the day, I could do the 110s just a long time ago. I could lift the 120s if someone could hand them to me, but I couldn't swing 120s. I'd get them about right here and then they go back down. So someone one day, again, as I talked about people helping me in there, came up to said, "Going to show you a better way to do that." And he had me put them on my knees. He said, "All you do is just sit and let your knees bring them to you." And it took me a little while to do it, but once I started doing that, it didn't matter what weight I kicked up, it all felt the same to me. So you don't, a lot of people, again, when they put them on the knees, want to pull them off your knees. You got to
Hmm.
bring your knees to you where you're right here. So
I
now I'm
see.
already in the lifting position. Okay. So let your knees bring them to you if you can do that. Bring them up to here, start them up here. All you try to do is see how far I can spread my elbows out. I don't, nothing in my hands do anything other than I'm making a half circle. I'm seeing how far I can spread my elbows apart. But as you see, the dumbbells are inside my elbows. I
Yes.
don't feel anything in my shoulders, whether I'm doing, well, I do the 70s, 80s, 90s, it doesn't matter what weight, it doesn't change other than there's a weight that's going to be too heavy. But I feel everything in my chest. So the key is, I've always been told, is just basically take your elbow. All I'm going to do right here is take my elbows out. Leave my hands inside.
Hmm.
Because if you can, if I, for the weight I lift, if I'm doing the 70s or 80s and I'm outside of my elbows, that weight's going to the floor.
I see. Yeah.
You can't control it. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing I would tell people to work on is that getting this lifting part and starting as easy as whatever weight they're at. Just let the knees bring them to you and then go right into your pressing.
I see.
And the other thing is plant your feet. If you want to watch people, the heavier they go on bench or whatever they're doing, you all of a sudden, as they're struggling to do it, you watch their feet, all over the place, the whole body's moving.
Yeah, I've had
Your
that problem
power
myself.
you get is in your feet. So when I'm struggling with the weight, the more I think about pushing my feet through the floor, I have a whole lot different time of pressing that up. I mean, getting the weight up because I'm planting my feet, keeping them where they want to be. Okay. So for me, I am the only thing touching right now, you can see it from the side, is my shoulder blades and my butt and my feet. Like if you could put your hand from underneath my low back, I have a natural arc. You know what I mean? When I'm lifting, you don't
Right.
want to be total flat back because I got no power up under me. But if I'm digging my shoulder blades in, now I'm pushing my feet to the floor. Now I have the ability to press these up like they're nothing, no matter what weight it is.
Gotcha.
So that's where I would start. So if I was working, like I showed Rosemary the other day where we were here, first thing I would do is my incline dumbbell presses. I would do 2 sets, 10 to 12 reps. Okay. Now, again, these being easy, I would go then for me up to if they're easy for somebody, I would try the 20s. Now, you're not always going to get 12. You might get 10, you might get 8, you might get whatever. But once you're able to get 12 with them, so if I did 12 with the 15s, 8 with the 20s, the next time I come in, I would eliminate those 15s and I would start with the 20s.
Just, I mean, on your very next workout?
Yeah, because I already did 12. I already know I can do 12 with the 15s. You know what I mean? What's my point? I'm now trying to get my 20s for 12. If I do the 20s first, I'm going to be less tired because that's my first set now. So I haven't fatigued myself. You'll find, I promise you, let's say you got 8 with the 20s that first day. 3 days later, when you did them again, I bet you get 10 or you get 12 with those 20s. You're going to get 10 for sure. So then when it bumps to 20, when you get 12 again, bump them to the 25s. Or like if you're at my gym, I would tell you 22 and a half. You know what I mean? But you got to keep, it's not going to be like every week. It's a process. But as it said in the notes, when when you're able to add, you want to add because you're always trying to involve more muscle fiber.
And you're not
So
really, you're not going to know that you're able to add unless you try it.
exactly. You're just not. And again, that's why kicking these up. And I asked Rosemary the last time I saw her, how's that coming? And she says she's having an easier time kicking them up now. So it's just once you know it, you know it. But the key is don't let your hands pull them. Let your knees bring them to you. And so, for instance, a couple of times when I went back to Atlanta and the dumbbells did go to 130 and I'll kick them up and I end up right here, I'm dead in the water. I mean, I can get them, but the fight I got to do to get to that hole and get them up, I mean, maybe only get a rep or two because I'm so fatigued what it took me to do that. But when I do them right and I can kick them and I go right to here, go right into it, then I'm halfway into the movement before I even start the movement. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're trying to do as far as, that goes. So that's what I would do. That'd be the first two chest movements I would do. Those. Okay. For back, if you're in the gym and you have access to a lat pull down, that would be great. But I want to demonstrate this for the next one because this is another one of those movements that I feel like are always done that aren't working the proper muscle. And they're one-arm dumbbell rows. So one-arm dumbbell rows, I watched a girl do them today. Now she did them, which is fine the way I do them. She did them kind of standing here, but they pull it here.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody you watch do one-arm dumbbell rows, every time they'll get all that weight and they're trying to pull it here.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically got nothing to do with your back. It's only got to do with your rear delt. The only thing I'm feeling is here. To get your back involved, you want the dumbbell, your fist to go right by your glute. So all I'm trying to do is lift my elbow to the back wall. I'm going this way. And all I'm trying to do is throw the elbow back. And when you clear that way, now I feel it all the way down to where my back engages. And then flip over to the other side.
I see.
So that's where you'll see, it's amazing what, how big a role your elbows play in working out. You know, pretty much everything I do. Pull downs, I try to pull down with my elbows. I pull my elbows to the floor. I take my hands out. One arm row, no matter what weight I do, and I can go up, I'll go up on my rows, usually start with Andy, go 90, 100, 110s. I'm just cupping them. I'm not gripping them where you see my forearm are engaged. I'm just holding them in my hand like this.
That's good to
And
know.
all I'm trying to do is just let my elbow do the work.
Right.
That way. That's one of those exercises I said that I see done 90% of the time in the gym. Again, I hate to use the word wrong because they are working something, but in their mind, if you ask them what they were working, they would tell you they're working back.
You know, I think you're bringing up a excellent point because I don't think that people know with completion the
No, what?
exercise that they don't know with certainty the exercise that they're doing uh and what muscle group it's activating. Like what you just showed me there, if you were to ask the average person who's doing that exercise what muscle group that they're targeting with that exercise, they would either be incorrect or they wouldn't know because they're doing what they see other people do or
Exactly.
what they think they should be doing.
Exactly.
So no wonder I don't know how to do the exercise correctly because I don't even know what this exercise is for. So let me ask you this. That brings me to this question. Should I figure out what exercises I need to do first, or should I just figure out what parts of my body I need to work out and then figure out the exercises for that?
No, again, if we go back to what I was talking about for the average person, I think, again, if I was training you, it's going to be total body. So it's going to be legs, chest, back, shoulders. So yeah, you're trying to figure out even before you go in, you know what's at the gym. Well, you definitely do, and most people do. Now, if they're new, they don't. But again, chest dumbbell press, flies, chest press machine. You just want to find two exercises. One, what I call power movement, which is that incline dumbbell press. It could be flat dumbbell press. I just like working up. Here's what I always learned about upper chest. I saw a guy a long time ago, Dave Rogers. He was like 1978 Mr. America. When I met him out one night, I think I told this story. His chest literally came out of his shirt. I mean, that's where it started here. And I was like, man. I said, sir, what are you doing? What are you doing for your chest? And he said, what's your name? I told him my name. He said, Barry. He said, all I do is upper work. He said, when you work upper chest, you're still working lower. But when you work lower, you're only working lower. He said, that's why you see most people what's called low pec heavy. They have this low pec strength, but then they got this concave upper chest. So from that time I said that to me, I've done nothing but incline everything. I do incline flies, incline press, incline, because again, it's worked my chest now where my chest starts here as a pin, and it has a more balance and symmetry to it. So I do a little bit of flat dumbbell work. I don't do any bench press. I do mostly all incline press, incline flies, incline Smith machine, and I might finish up with cable crossovers or something like that. But everything I do is from the top, what I call from the top down. That's why I prefer them do the incline dumbbells as opposed to fly. But you're right, most people go in to see someone doing something and they just demonstrate. That's why the first thing I want to do today was, that's kind of things I see done wrong. Flies I see done wrong a lot of the time. Most of the time I see flies done wrong. Or, again, I don't know the wrongs. It probably is. You just have more risk involved with how you watch people do flies, because eventually, many people tell me that. Matter of fact, Reggie was one, I think he brought up to me about how it bothered his shoulders. And I explained to him how to do that. As the next time I saw it, he said he didn't feel his shoulders at all. So you just want to engage, should be another bit engaging chest. And nothing to do with you feeling your shoulders, something's not right.
Right.
The other one I would say done mostly all the time wrong is I do these seated. You probably have seen them. Mostly people do them standing. I'm actually stronger doing them seated now, and it takes any stress off my low back. And they're called seated side laterals. And you'll see people doing this like this. You'll see them doing handsy, where their hands are coming up in the air. You'll see them doing all kinds of things, but most of the time it's going to be with their hands. A guy taught me a long time ago, he said, Barry, think about strings attached to your elbows. Someone was in the ceiling lifting your elbows lifting the string, pulling the string. So this would be this. All I'm lifting from is my elbow. It's like pouring water out of these dumbbells.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm lifting from everyone I've ever demonstrated. I get behind them and put my hands under their elbows and lift them like that. They say, oh, no, I've never felt that before. Because everything else they're normally working is going to be forearm or very little shoulder. Because the way that they're doing, you'll see them, I watch them do this stuff all the time. There's a little shoulder involved in that, but I'm telling you, not as near as if you're just sitting here going up and down, keep your shoulders back. And just all I ever think about is lifting from here. This is where I lift from the whole time that I'm doing it. If you can do that, you'll change that movement totally 100%. Again, I like them seated. Forever I used to do them. I've always done them standing. I've gotten so used to doing them seated now. When I go back to standing, I just feel them a little bit more in my low back. Like I'm stronger doing them seated than I'm definitely doing them standing. So
would you say that's a good exercise for ladies? And I also wanted to ask you the same question about the upper chest exercise.
Oh, 100%. Same thing for women. Yeah. Because again, you're just about tone. It's just giving them that full look. Chest for most women, if they're going to do it right, will just end up being more tone. Any excess or whatever, all that is fat, breast in a sense. So it's just going to give them but it gives them that same, every woman I've ever seen, especially bodybuilding girls, just have that real pretty look because again, it's a full balanced chest. So the key is just about symmetry and balance, about working your total body. Some body parts respond better than others, quicker than others, but it doesn't change anything. I was thinking about that the other day. I was telling you about the guy that hurt his shoulder, and he was telling me, I'm thinking about doing chest. He was talking about I might do 70s on my good arm and then 35s on my other arm. When I ripped my quad out of my kneecap in 91, I want to say it was, he told me I couldn't do anything for 6 months, low body wise. Upper body, I was back in the gym on Tuesday after surgery, but lower body, I wasn't allowed to do anything. I could have done my other leg, but I didn't think, what's the point? You know what I mean? Why would I do that?
Yeah.
It's going to be tough enough to keep the symmetry and balance when I get back to rehabbing that quad, which I was able to, and get them back to where they needed to be, as opposed to going in and say, I can always just do one-legged leg press, one-legged leg extension. Makes no sense whatsoever. You know what I mean? I did cardio bike when I finally got my things working well and doing my rehab, but there's no point in doing one side or doing more weight on one side than the other. You should always keep the balance there that you're trying to do. So that's one of those that the side lateral I see done wrong all the time. The other one I see done wrong definitely all the time is stiff leg deadlifts for your hamstrings. Another one I learned that someone taught me. Stiff legs, I watched some people do it today. I saw a guy today, he got on top of 3 plates before he could get more range of motion. You know what I mean? What I
Yeah.
mean by that, where he was able to be, he was higher off the ground, so he was able to go all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
That's got zero to do with my hamstrings.
Well, I
Basically,
feel
all
the
it's got to do with my
stretch.
low back and my back, which also could risk hurting something.
Mm.
Again, what I was taught on that is, someone said to me, Barry, pretend like your hands are full, which they are, and you got groceries in your hand, you want to close the car door. So what I'm
Okay.
trying to do is, he said, you go down as far as your hamstrings allow you to go down. So if I'm trying to close the car door, take these straight down, I'm pushing my rear end down, that's as far as I can go. I mean, that's where my hamstrings are engaged and I feel them right there. Now, again, here's where I feel them. Could I go down further? Sure. But that's got nothing to do with my hamstrings.
Mm-hmm.
So take your low back out of it. Like there's no weight. You don't want to risk injuring yourself, especially low back stuff. So the weight doesn't matter. You'd be surprised what you're capable of lifting if you do them right. But I promise you, they will light your hamstrings up. If every time I do a set, whether I think about touching the imaginary wall behind me, which I know I can't, touching trying to close my car door, all I'm doing is bowing, pushing my butt straight out every time I go down. Every one of those I felt in my head, lit my hamstrings up.
Now hold on, Barry. Hold on. I got to be honest. I don't make that movement when I close a car door.
You know?
No, I
Oh,
don't
you
bend
do
down.
that.
I don't do what? Oh, am I supposed to close the car door with my butt?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
If
Okay.
your hands are full,
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
it
you're
all the
right.
time. When I get my groceries out of the back, you know how I close my car door?
Yeah, 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 yeah. You're right. You're right.
Well, use the analogy however you want. Again, if again I was trying to touch something behind me, I don't want to touch it. Like I'll
Got
tell
it.
clients, I said, look, just come back to you. You're able to touch, my legs. They're never going to be able to get there, but in their mind, they keep reaching for that spot. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
it doesn't matter how you go. Every time I go down, all I try to do is push back further. Every time I do a rep, I try to push back further. They will I'm telling you, for anyone who tries it, you will feel hamstrings. Hunter, nowhere but your hamstrings.
Well, I hope you have more exercises to show us, but we may have to put that on to be continued because the producer man, believe it or not, is flashing the lights at us. It's been 39 minutes.
Oh,
We
my.
got about a minute and 20 seconds left. So as that's counting down, I just wanted to remind everybody, if you did find anything useful from the show, please hit the like button. It'll help us out and boost us in the algorithm. Also, hit the subscribe button and look right next to that subscribe button for the little bell that you can click on so you can be notified every time we upload a new video. And as always, thank you for watching the show. And Barry, how can people reach out to you?
You can hit me up. I would hit me up on Messenger or Facebook. I want to say I appreciate the producer, man, because I'm a little fatigued here, man. I'm sucking a little bit of air.
Well, don't you
Just
worry.
working out in the gym's a little harder than I thought.
Yeah, yeah. And there you have it. See, he actually is in the gym. So thank you for tuning in. And for Barry and myself, see you next time.